Okay, shalom everybody. Shavua tov. Tachel shana ubirchotea. B'ezrat Hashem. Tachel shana ubirchotea. So before anything, this class is in memory of Nisim ben Simcha, in the merit of Rabbi Nachman ben Fege. You should have a major aliyah as neshama. Okay, so the topic of tonight is the key to True Simcha. True Simcha. But before we get to that, we have to make a major introduction as the perspective, the framework, and from that we can understand and develop how to get to True Simcha. Okay? First, we have to give a major introduction of the framework of the Torah. The Torah, as we know it, at least by the revealed level, has 4 sections called Pshat, Remez, Drash, and Sod. Pshat means the simple level of the Torah. Remez are the hints. We have remazim, hints to something that is there, not explicit, but it's hinted there. Drash is where a darshan, he has to dig deep to discover an insight that's not there, it's hidden, and to bring it out. And Sod, of course, is the Kabbalah. Okay? So these are 4 levels. They're hinted to, believe it or not, in the 4 letters of Hashem's name, Yud Ke Vav Ke. So the Yud being the Sod, the highest level, the first Hey being the Drash, the Vav being the Remez, and the final Hey being the Pshat. Okay? A level further, we have 4 exiles that the Jewish people have been from the time of creation. The exile of Mitzrayim, the exile of Bavel, the exile of Yavan, Greece, and this final exile that we're in now until Mashiach comes, the exile of Edom. And it's brought down that each of the exiles corresponds to a different level of the Torah, meaning that in that exile, what was needed was an enhancement of one of the 4 sections of the Torah. So for example, the first exile of Mitzrayim, okay, where the Jews were being mitzar, there was a tightness. They were on a high level compared to us, of course, that for them, the level of Pshat, the revealed level of the Torah, which includes not just the Chumash, but Halacha min Moshe Sinai, Torah Shebe'al Peh, the whole embodiment of the simple level of the Torah as we know it, that for Mitzrayim was enough for them. Even though the Torah has hidden within it the secrets of the Torah, the Remez, the Drash, the Sod, fine, okay? But for them, it was enough. The Pshat was strong enough to free them, to enlighten them in the Galut of Mitzrayim. Next one is Bavel. Bavel is from the Lashon of Bilbul, confusion. Rashi brings down on Bavel, Balal Mikol Bilbel. There's a Bilbul, which means a confusion. That meaning what? That the Pshat level of the Torah, that was enough for the Jews in the exile of Egypt to get out. Now a deeper level of the Torah, which is there in the Pshat hidden, the level of Remez is needed for the confusions that the Jews encountered in the Galut of Babel. Yavan, which is a 3rd level of Galut, which is, or person knows in Yavan is like quicksand, Yaven Metzula, you're being drowned. Meaning that now a 3rd level of depth of the Torah was needed to enhance the Jews in the time of the Yavanim, the times of the Greeks, where they were after ruining the hashkafa, ruining the emunah of the Jewish people with their Greek philosophy. We don't hear that much about Babylonian philosophy or Egyptian philosophy. It was slavery. Bilbul of Nebuchadnezzar was to take people out to exile. But Yavan, they came to attack the Jews in Eretz Yisrael. The Greek philosophy and influence was in Eretz Yisrael, but get them to be atheistic and not to be believed, and that's considered a quicksand. You're in your place, but you're being sunken deep inside. So for that, the 3rd level of the Torah, of the Drash, was needed to enhance the Jews, to give them light in the Torah in order for them to survive that attack of that Galut. Finally, we're in Edom. Edom is similar in etymological structure to the word for medame. Medame means imagination. In other words, in this final exile, the attack enhanced from Greece is now the attack of the imagination, the medame. Okay? Adom. They say in science, whatever, the most comfortable color is green. Green is like, Rashi says that, by the way. Rashi says that a color that makes a person happy and calm is the grasses and the trees and the green mountains, because green has a special soothing koach. It's a neutral color. And Adom, red, which is Edom, is the opposite. Red is a color that induces fear and worry, and oh my God, what's going to be? That's the color of blood, of Edom. So, the attack of Edom is on what's called the Medame. Rabbi Nachman said, now we have to give a new name to the Yetzirah. The Gemara lists, the Yetzirah has like 6-7 names. And he says we have to add another name to the Yetzirah today. And this is the main attack that people suffer today. It's called the Koach HaMedameh, the faculty of distorted imagination. Most people today, what they're suffering from, I have phobias, I have traumas, and all that, is an attack on the Medameh, the imagination. For that, in this final exile, we see the revelation of the Sod, the Pshat. Again, we carry on since Egypt. We have the Pshat of the Torah Shebichtav, the Torah Shebe'al Peh. And then enhanced from Babel, we have added to that the Ramazim, and then in Yavan, the Drash, the Midrashim, and now finally in Edom, we have now the revelation of the Zohar. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was added after the destruction of the Second Temple, okay? And then later on, the Arizal came, and Kabbalah, Sod, is meant or was meant to give the soothing strength to handle. For example, just in a historical perspective, when the Spanish Inquisition hit and the seat of Torah in the world was Spain, can't deny that. It was the seat of Torah. The level of Torah study in Spain was unbelievable. And when this Girush, the expulsion took place, it threw people so off that they were so shaking in their emunah, they needed something deeper, something more in the Torah to keep them holding on the emunah. Which is why the Arizal came along right after the Inquisition, and that availability of Sod now on a more revealed level gave people who were thirsty a handle to give chizuk to hold on to this galut. Okay, now we're at the end of the galut of Edom, and we see how much we've fallen these past 250, 300 years. Well, Am Yisrael now, the majority of Jewish people in the world have no idea what Shabbat is, what Kriyat Shema is. We've never been in a situation like this last 300 years. Meaning that even though we've had the revelation of Sod, a new level is needed. Okay? This fifth level is hidden in the 4 letters of Hashem's name, Yud Ke Vav Ke. You have in the letter Yud what the Sofrim know as called Kotza Deot Yud. When a Sofer writes Yud Ke Vav Ke in the Sefer Torah, he writes the first Yud. How you make a Yud is that it has like a crown on the top. It has like a spitz going upwards and then goes down, right? That's a letter Yud. But also on the first top part of the letter Yud, he has to make a tiny little leg going down. Not too much, so it doesn't look like a chet, but a little thing. It's called Kotza Deot Yud. And this refers to a 5th level of the Torah, which corresponds to the level known as the Keter, Pele. Pele is the wondrous level. This is a level that's beyond. It's not graspable. That's why it's hinted inside another letter. You have the letter Yud, which corresponds to the idea of Kabbalah. But hidden in that is a little leg, which is emanating from the bottom of the letter Yud. It's called Kotza Deot Yud. And it refers to a 5th level of the Torah. What's this 5th level of the Torah? It's called the Keter. The Keter contains within it a gateway to the highest level of experience with Hashem, known as the 50th level. Okay, bypassing the Kabbalah, bypassing the Pshat Remez Drashot, where that means until now, all 4 levels of Torah would have been enough. However, because the darkness now, the enhancement of the Choshech that we're going through, it's called Choshech al Pnei Tehom. Okay, that we're going through such a severity that even Kabbalah can't help a Jew seeking, because the darkness is so strong. He needs a light to enhance his existence to continue. This is why we see in this final stretch of our exile before Mashiach comes, became the revelation of something called Chassidut. What is Chassidut in general? And in particular, Rabbi Nachman's teachings of Chassidut. Chassidut connects even the farthest Jew in the world, who may be in such darkness, yet he can feel a connection with Hashem at the highest of levels. To enable even a Jew who's so far, he wants to advance, but just the darkness and the combination of Mitzrayim, Bavel, and Yavan, and Edom all together, and now we're at the end of the stretch, it's just too overwhelming that a new dosage of Torah is needed to strengthen these neshamot. This is what the Baal Shem Tov came to begin to reveal, okay? And in particular, this is the teachings of Rabbi Nachman, that he said about his teachings, that his Torah he takes from a place way, way, way above the Kabbalah. When Rabbi Nachman revealed lesson 63 in the Likutey Moharan is called Sod Kavanot Milah, the mystical intentions of the mitzvah of Milah. He gave this Torah lesson right before the Brit Milah of his son. Rabbi Nachman had a son, believe it or not, and he would call him Shlomo Ephraim. Why this name Shlomo Ephraim? He said he had high hopes for this boy, that through him Mashiach would come. He called him Shlomo, who was like Ben David, Mashiach Ben David, and called him Ephraim, like Mashiach Ephraim Ben Yosef. Mashiach Ben Yosef is Ephraim Ben Yosef. He gave him the combination of Shlomo Ephraim, and he told us he was in such a joy when the son was born. He said, with this son, that was Hashem, you will beat Mashiach. But afterwards, unfortunately, the decree was too strong. The opposition, the Kichugim was too strong, and this boy passed away after a year and a half. Rabbi Nachman was shattered because he saw the Mashiach was imminent, but the death of this child, he said, delayed it for at least 100 years. Shemrach. Okay. However, to go back, when he gave this lesson 63, and the Friday night was called the Shalom Zachar by the Ashkenazim, the Friday night before the Brit Milah, they get together to honor Hashem. They give out lepipit, cacahuete, peanuts, and chickpeas and zeronim, kitniot, legumes they give out, okay? And it's a type of giving thanks to Hashem. So Rav Nosson, Rabbi Nachman's disciple, he came to Rabbi Nachman for the Shalom Zachar, and it happened that the heel of Rav Nosson's shoe was twisted backwards. It wasn't sitting well on his foot. So when he came before Rabbi Nachman with his twisted heel, so Rabbi Nachman told Rav Nosson, he said, Rav Nosson, your shoe looks like someone who has a slap in his face. And then he said, and he stressed in Yiddish, Unser sichas chulin, our casual talk. Let some Kabbalist come and show me how what I just said, the statement of your shoe looks like it has a slap in the face, contains in it all the mystical meditations of the Kabbalah on the Brit Milah, and that which is considered above even the mystical intentions. And he revealed that and he then revealed this lesson 63, which is super powerful in the concept, showing that he's tapping into a newer level, the level of a divine connection above even the Kabbalah, but to get to every Jew, to get to his heart, and to wake him up. This is the idea of Chassidut, which, believe it or not, is the fifth level of the Torah. And it's needed. It's needed, and believe it or not, you can't make it in this Galut without this fifth level. He explains, Rabbi Nachman in his book, Likutey Moharan, that before Hashem allows a high neshama to come down into this world, so you can maintain a stable balance in your Yiddishkeit, in your Torah observance, with the standard tradition of Torah study that has been passed down from generation to generation, whether in Poland, whether in Morocco, whether in Syria, whether in Iraq and Taiwan. The standard Torah that's passed down from generation to generation is enough. However, once Hashem opens the green light and allows super duper neshama to come down to help Am Yisrael, to help them for the last leg before Mashiach comes, so it becomes impossible to survive the attack of the Galut without the help of these tzaddikim. It's like Kramer's law, zelu madzeh, that whenever a positive force comes down to the world, at least an equal level of negativity has to come down. Why? For the sake of free will. if the good was here and the bad is here, there's no challenge. Hashem, He loves us. He wants us to earn the good. Hashem is good, and He wants to give the good, but you have to have a challenge to earn it. If it's on a free platter, then what did Hashem accomplish? Like Rabbi Nachman said, it would be Hashem serving Himself. If Hashem sent easy challenges, easy where the good is here and the bad is over here, and then so why did Hashem create you? Hashem wouldn't need you for that. He'd be serving Himself. So to earn Hashem's goodness, it has to be a challenge. So meaning, whenever Hashem sends good down to the world, comes down with it an equal amount of darkness, where then becomes impossible to be saved from that darkness without that light. So meaning, we've reached the stage, and we see it in history, that the regular standard Torah study, and we're still doing it, alone though, is not enough. It's not enough to handle the daily challenges. We see it. We see people who are learning Gemara all day, and they fell, okay? And then if you want to add on to that, the Remez and the Midrashim, okay, and then Kabbalah, even of all that there's available, still the thirst of the neshama and the attacks that we're facing now at the end of this galut of Edom, of the Midameh, like we said, the imagination, which is Edom, it's not enough. It's not enough. Something higher is needed, the fifth level, which is the final level. This level of Keter is now the gateway to the highest level of the Torah, which is called the infinite light. All this is hinted to in the opening Midrash of Midrash Rabbah. Midrash Rabbah is the main body of Midrashim. It was written by Rabbi Hoshaya Rabbah, who's buried, by the way, in Peking, in Eretz Yisrael, not far from Meron. So he starts off the Midrash on a verse from Mishlei, Proverbs chapter 7. The verse reads, Va'ehyeh etzlo amon. King Solomon is talking on behalf of the Torah. The Torah says of itself, the Torah is praising itself. I, the Torah, was by Hashem. Va'ehyeh etzlo. I was by Hashem. Amon. What does this mean, Amon? Aleph, Mem, Vavno. What does that mean, Amon? So the Midrash brings 5 explanations. 4 similar ones, and the 5th one a totally different body. And these 5 we're going to see correspond to Pshat, Remez, Drash, Sod, and this final level of the Keter. Okay? So the Midrash first says, Amon means pedagogue. There's a word in English also, pedagogy. It comes from this Greek word pedagogue. Pedagogue, what does that mean in Latin or Greek, whatever? It means that someone who needs total nurturing, like a baby. A baby, you have to wash him, you have to feed him, you have to clean him. He's 100% pedagogue. And the pasuk, the Torah, the Midrash brings to prove that Amon, the Torah is saying, so what does that mean? Va'ehyeh etzlo Amon, the Torah is saying, I was by Hashem being pampered, pedagogue. Hashem was pampering me. Where do you see that Amon means pampering, pedagogue? It's in Parashat Ba'alotcha, when the Jews started to complain to Moshe Rabbeinu, we have no meat. We missed the meat that we had in Egypt. What is this? So then Moshe complained to Hashem. Hashem, you want me to give meat to so many 600,000 men and the women and the children, And if you ask me why am I complaining, okay? Hashem, you tell me, the reason why I'm complaining is because you tell me to sovel, to endure the Jewish people. Kasher yisaha omen et hayonek. Hashem, you're telling me, the reason why I'm complaining, Moshe Rabbeinu was complaining, the reason why I'm complaining, because you tell me I have to take care of the Jewish people like a parent takes care of a baby. Like a nursing mother takes care of a baby. So the Midrash shows Omen and the word Amon are similar. So there, the context is a totally pampered baby, and that's the meaning of pedagogue. So this is a hint of the Pshat. The Pshat of the Torah requires full investment. We see in the world, when they open yeshiva, they don't open yeshiva to learn Midrash, to learn Remez. There are some yeshivot for Kabbalah. The main yeshivot in the world are to what? To learn the Gemara, right? When you open yeshiva, it's to learn Halacha or Gemara, and it requires full concentration. If you miss one point, you don't have the Halacha. You don't have the Sugya. If you miss what Rav Ashi says, or Ravina and everything, you lost it. The Torah, the Pshat of the Torah, requires full concentration. That's why it's hard for most people, because they can't concentrate. But the demand of Torah is you can sit down and get into a Gemara, get into what's called the Sugya, or get into Halacha and go dig deep. So it requires full attention, like a baby is totally pampered. So the Torah is saying about itself, Vayeh etzlo amon, the pshat of the Torah saying, I was pampered by Hashem until the right time came to be revealed, which is when? On Vav Sivan, Har Sinai, when the Torah was given. So the Torah is saying about itself, I was pampered by Hashem. The pshat of the Torah was taken care and being pampered until the time came to be revealed to Am Yisrael. That's the first explanation. Second explanation the Midrash brings is Amon means mechuseh, covered up, like remez. A remez, when you say a hint in the Torah, it's something which is there, but it's there. You just have to uncover it. You don't have to dig deep. It's there. It's a hint. I see a hint. There's this word vayomer in this pasuk, and I see another vayomer in that pasuk. I can begin to connect them. I just have to just uncover. Where does the Torah bring? Where does the Midrash bring proof that this idea of uncovering from Megillat Eicha? Okay, it says there in chapter 3, when Yirmiyahu is depicting the starvation and the famine and the death in Yerushalayim, when there was the siege of Yerushalayim by Nebuchadnezzar. So he depicts there in the Megillat Eicha, ha'emunim alei tola, the little children who were like playing on a blanket, on a crimson purple ha'emunim, they were just covered up. Sorry, they were covered up in a blanket, like a baby now who's covered up. The baby's underneath. All you have to do is just uncover the blanket. That's the idea of remez. A remez is hinted to, okay? So the Torah is saying, Vayeh etzlo amon, the second level of the Torah, the remez, saying, I was also covered up by Hashem, not like a pedagogue, not like the first level where I have to be pampered and diaper change and everything, which is the pshat of the Torah, where you have to invest. You can't just buy an art school Gemara and not learn it. You have to learn it, and when you learn it, you have to understand what you're saying. You can't learn Gemara like you gores Zohar and Tikkuni Zohar in the month of Elul. You just read it or say Tehillim like that. You have to focus on what you're saying and understand what's going on. It requires full concentration. Whereas remez is nice hints and connections. It's like taking off a blanket from a baby. Ha'emunim ale tola, like the children who are wrapped in a blanket. Okay. Third level, the Midrash says is mechuseh. Mechuseh. Sorry. That's the second one. Third level is mutzna, hidden. Okay, hidden is drash. Why? Because the darshan, when he wants to give a drasha, he has to dig deep. He wants to present an idea that nobody sees it there, and he has to now open up many books and try to find a connection A, B, C, D, and he finds something which was there, but very, very. He had to dig deep to reveal this idea and present it to the people that he's talking to. That's the idea of a drash. So the Midrash brings an amazing pasuk to show that this is hidden. Where? Megillat Esther, and this is a unique explanation, which we're not familiar with this explanation of the Midrash. It says that when Achashverosh killed Vashti, and he was depressed because he killed his beautiful wife, and he was upset that he did that because he was drunk and everything. So the Na'arim suggested find a new wife. So what did they? Okay, they sent out messengers to every country that was under the 127 nations of Achashverosh to find beautiful women, even married women, okay, even Jewish women. So the Midrash explains that in that period, that section of Megillat Esther, it says this pasuk. It talks about Mordechai and Esther. Vayhi omen et Hadassah. How do we translate normally this pasuk? Vayhi omen et Hadassah. It says that Esther was born to her parents, right? And they died. The father died when she was conceived. Her mother died at childbirth. So Mordechai adopted her. Mordechai took care of her. The Midrash says he even was able to milk her. The Midrash says that Mordechai had no one to breastfeed Esther because Hashem created him to be able to have milk. Okay, and eventually he married her. Rashi says Al tikra bat el abayit, that he married eventually Esther. Okay, so Vahi omen et Hadassah. The simple translation is, and Mordechai he raised Hadassah. The Midrash says no. Vahi omen, he hid. He was hiding Hadassah, she was Esther, so that the guards of Achashverosh shouldn't find her to take her to Achashverosh, and it didn't help because they dug deep. When they heard the good news that there's a beautiful lady called Esther. She's very pretty. They found her and they took her. So this is the third level of the Torah, the drash. Okay. So yeah. Now the fourth level, sod. So the Midrash brings a pasuk from the prophet Nehemiah. Nehemiah begins to rebuke Assyria. Assyria, you think you're stronger than Egypt? You think you're not going to fall in the hands of Nebuchadnezzar? You think you're better than Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim had one of the strongest cities in the world. It was called afterwards Alexandria. And before the name Alexandria was called Nun Aleph. So the pasuk reads in Nehemiah, Hatevti mino Amon. Do you think, Ashur, that you're better? Hatevti tov. Do you think you're better than No Amon? What's No Amon? So the Targum translates No Amon as Alexandria Rabata. Do you think you, Ashur, are stronger than Alexandria, the strong city? Why was it strong? Rashi says there, quoting the Gemara, that Alexandria was along the shore of the Mediterranean Sea. Whenever you have the sea as one of the walls, it's one of the strongest walls. You have a fortified city. If it has a wall that's the seashore is the strongest wall. Why? Because they have to swim to get there. It's not difficult. And while they're trying to swim, the people inside the city can easily shoot at them. That's what happened at the Battle of Normandy with the Americans, right? They were just falling like sardines, like sardines, because they had the lower hand.
Ruled the world.
What?
That's why you ruled the world. Nobody could get there.
So the idea is no rabeta, no amon. The word amon means great. In our context, Kabbalah, when a person enters the world of Kabbalah, all these terms in mysticism of Zer Anpin and Malchut and Nukva, these are very heavy terms. It's like big. The Kabbalah deals mainly with the secrets of the creation, the beginning of Bereshit, how Hashem created the world, the vacated space, the hollow space, Chalal Panui, and the initial stages of the Sfirot and everything. It's like massive because you have to. It's not like details of how to cook on Shabbat and like Pshat or a drasha on Psukim. It's going way back on the whole picture of creation. So it's called big. Okay, so in our context, Vayeh Etzlo Amon, the Torah is saying, I was very big, and because I was big, I was protected by Hashem because I'm precious in Hashem's eyes. These are the 4 levels of the Torah. The Torah said I was in waiting mode until Vav Sivan. Davar Acher, then the Midrash gives a 5th explanation. And this is the Spitz. Al Tikre Amon Ela Uman. Okay? Al Tikra Amon Ela Uman. What does that mean? So the Midrash doesn't bring Psukim now. The Midrash says like this, that the Torah, and this is the famous Rashi, it's a famous concept, that the Torah was klei umanuto shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The word uman means a craftsmanship, umanut. The Torah was saying about itself, I was the kli umanut. I was the vessel being basei de oman. I was the vessel being used by Hashem to create the creation. And the Midrash brings a beautiful analogy. When you hire an architect, okay, to build, you call an architect, adrikal in Hebrew, okay? You say, I want now a 4-story building with steps on the side and an elevator here and everything, and garages here and everything. So he sees the idea, and now he's not going to now just, okay, let's start building. He has to draw out a blueprint, a map, a blueprint, and then he brings the blueprint to the builders, the constructors, and they look at the blueprint, okay, 5 meters here, 10 meters there, okay, another step over here. He's looking at the blueprint, and based on that, he's making the building. So too, the Torah says, which level of the Torah? That Hashem looked into me to make the creation. The whole creation was made from the blueprint of the Torah. Which level of the Torah? What does it mean, Amon? The word Amon is opened up by the Zohar. The Tikkun Zohar calls Amon, this 5th level, Amon Mufla, the wondrous craftsman. And Mufla, the 3rd Mufla, is always referring to a level of the Torah that's way beyond human grasp. That, the Zohar calls it the level of the Keter. The level of the Keter is this level that Hashem used to create the world. Amon, muflam.
But we can have a glimpse of that, Keter.
We're going to go into that. We are going to go into that. 1 second. We're going to that. What's that? Okay. So the Torah is saying, Davar Acher, the Midrash says that I was the Kli Umanut. Which level of the Torah was used to make the creation? The highest level possible, called the Keter. And that's after the 4 levels, which explains now that we're preceding the coming of Mashiach, which he will have the Torah of the Keter, the Torah of this Umanut restored fully. So we are the pre-stages of it. So it's no wonder that there's a demand for this high level of Torah called the Keter. And it makes sense now why, based on this, that we've had in these last 250 years such high revelations of Torah, which the Chassidut brings. The Chassidut, especially Rabbeinu's teachings, okay, and by the way, Rabbeinu said about himself, Ani ish pele v'nishmati pele gadol. Rabbi Nachman said about himself, I am a man of pele. Pele, the Rav Moshe Cordovero, in his book, Pardes Rimonim, there's a chapter called chapter 23, and it's called Erchei HaKinuyim. It's a whole chapter where it's arranged according to the alphabet, and he lists many words based on alphabetical order, their Kabbalistic significance. So for the word pain, pele for pain, he says this is referring to this high level of the Torah called Keter. Why is it called pele? Because pele translates as Mamufla mimecha al tidrosh, that which is beyond your grasp. Pele is wondrous. So a level of Torah that's beyond your grasp is called pele. Okay? Rabbi Nachman said about himself, Ani ish pele. I'm a man of the pele, of the wonder. Okay? And then he said, my soul is a greater pele. I have a chidush. What does that mean? I am a man of pele, and my soul is a greater pele. So it could be, this is what I think, my personal opinion. He was saying, while he was alive, while Rabbi Nachman was alive, he already stuck out from the other tzaddikim. Ani ish pele. The other tzaddikim couldn't figure him out. He had an argument with one of the leading students of the Rav Michal of Zlotshov, who was a major student of the Maggid Mizrich, on visions, how to properly vision the angel Metat. The angel Metat, he was arguing with him how to vision him properly. And after speaking to him, Rav Tzvi Aryeh of Alek, he said, when I met him 10 years ago, I couldn't figure him out. And now meeting him now, 10 years later, I definitely can't figure him out. And as it seems, we all should be totally embarrassed in front of him. I have no grasp of this tzaddik. He was much older than Rabbi Nachman of Tzvi Aryeh of Alek. And he's saying, Rabbi Nachman, I have no grasp of him. He stuck out. Rabbi Nachman said, for example, everyone has to be by me for Rosh Hashanah. Nobody should be missing. Okay? And he said, and if other tzaddikim don't say the same thing, in other words, other tzaddikim, they're not so demanding like me to be by me Rosh Hashanah. Rav Levi Tzaddik he wasn't saying everyone has to be by me for Rosh Hashanah. All these big tzaddikim, the Baal Shem Tov, whatever, even though people would travel to be by tzaddikim for Rosh Hashanah, why not? Even in Morocco, they did that. They want to be by tzaddikim for Rosh Hashanah. Why not? It wasn't taboo. It wasn't something wrong. So, even though other tzaddikim, they don't insist it, and I am, so Rabbi Nachman says, no, and he said in Yiddish, no hakasha. Okay, another question against me. As if to say, Rav Nosson writes there, anyways, he had questions already about what he said and what he did. He already stuck out. So another question. This was in his lifetime. And now when he says, V'nishmati pele gadol, and my soul is even a bigger pele, meaning now his attitude with how he deals with people till today who connect to his teachings, connect to his followers, connect to the following, even it's of a greater pele. Okay. What is it? So what is the attitude of this pele, this keter? Why is it it's tricky? It's a tricky level. Rabbi Nachman explains in lesson 24, what you were saying before, we're going to this right now, that in order to experience the level of the keter, they fool you. They give you an initial flash of a big intense light, which on a practical level means anyone in their Judaism, on their pathway to Hashem, they experience sometime in their life a boost of spirituality. If it was a trip to Meron, if it was to Tzfat, if it was by the Kotel for the first time, If it was a Lag BaOmer concert and their hairs are standing, if it was a Yishai Ribo concert, a person is like, oh my God, he's flying, whatever.
I received that flash.
Okay, good. We all did, Flash Gordon. 1 second. We all did. But
I received that flash about 12, 13 years ago.
But 1 second, wait, I don't want to. I'm going to lose the track. Please.
We'll talk about it after.
Thank you. That's what I want. Okay. Everyone receives this flash of light. Where is it coming from? Light. We said this earlier today. Light is gematria. The word light in Hebrew is O. O is Aleph, Vav, Resh. Aleph is 1, Vav is 6, that's 7, and Resh is 200, 207, which is exactly the same numerical value of Ein Sof, the infinite light. The Keter, the Zohar says, contains behind it the gateway to the infinite light, which is, in other words, Hashem himself. It's a level of Torah, which is one with Hashem, okay? And it's light, okay? So that means whenever in your lifetime, you get that light of tshuva, that light to come back to Hashem, or in breast of terminology, the orot of being by the tzion of Rabbeinu, or orot in doing hitbodedut, or lights in getting up for chatzot, or finally you're saying Rav Noson's Likutey Tfilot, and he got to you and you start bawling your eyes out and you feel an amazing, overwhelming feeling of connection to Hashem, each one in his own way. It's called O. Where's it coming from? Ein Sof. Who's the gateway for the Ein Sof? This level called the Keter. So how the Keter works, it shines its light to a person, so he experiences this experience, and then it's taken away to push him now to pursue it. As is hinted to in the verse from Shir HaShirim, Moshcheni, Acharecha, Narutza. Moshcheni, the person is saying, Hashem, draw me close, shine me your light, and afterwards I'll run after you. Acharecha, Narutza. That's how the light of Keter works. And you get this light, and then it's taken away. And now what are you supposed to do now? You're supposed to sit down and do Tisha B'Av for the rest of your life? Come on. After tasting this big light, I'm going to sit back and just accept status quo Judaism? What? After tasting a higher level of truth, I'm expected to now just deal with the choshech and just go on with my life in the choshech? Come on. They gave me this light, such a light of truth, and I'm just going to deny it? I'm just going to go back to work and go back to the making the donuts, I don't know, whatever, going to regular day life and living and not live up to the aspiration of this light. Come on. This is the light of Keter. It shines itself and then it disappears. Now it's up to you to reconnect to it. How do you do that? How do you do that? So Rabbi Nachman teaches this is where Simcha comes into place. Simcha is not just like a patch. Oh, I'm in pain now, just put a patch. Simcha, it's okay. It's not like now taking a drug, a painkiller, and okay, and the pain will come back afterwards. That's not Simcha. Simcha is the gateway to connect to the highest levels of existence. It's hinted to in a pasuk. And this pasuk is brought down in the Gemara, Shabbat, page 88, where the Gemara talks about when the Jews said before Har Sinai, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. So the Gemara says 600,000 angels came and put 2 crowns. You ever wonder what those crowns are? 2 crowns on the head of every Jew, one for Naaseh and one for Nishma. And when there was the sin of the golden calf, it says, the Gemara says 1,200,000 angels came, because now the same angel couldn't take both. So you needed individual angels for each crown. So 1 angel for the crown of Naaseh, 1 angel for the crown of Nishma. So 1 million, that's 600,000 times 2. 1,200,000 angels came down to take the crown for the Naaseh and Nishma. And the Gemara goes on to say, and in the future, Hashem's going to restore these crowns, like the pasuk says, "V'simchat olam al roshan." Look at that. The simchat olam, the simcha. The translation is according to the Gemara. The simcha, which was always there, it was just in hiding. It was in waiting mode for Mashiach to come. Will now be back on their heads. Okay. So Rabbi Nachman, Rav Nosson interprets this verse like this: through simchat olam, through being happy while in this world, if all the setbacks and all the garbage you're going through, all the difficulties, yet you maintain being happy in your Yiddishkeit. You maintain being happy. Thank you, Hashem, I put on tefillin today. Thank you, I woke up. Thank you, I did Modeh. Thank you for the mikveh. Thank you for Shacharit and Kriyat Shema. And you're appreciative and you have such simcha while being in the vanities of olam, simchat olam. It's a simcha of this world. There's no simcha of this world. I'm not going to be happy because of the portion, the house. We know already clearly. This world in itself is a dead end. It's a dead end. In itself, it's a dead end. What makes this world have value? That it's connected to Hashem. That we do mitzvot. I have a house for achnasat orchim. I have a house for chinuch yeladim, for Talmud Torah. I have money in a job to buy tefillin, to buy beautiful mezuzah, to do mitzvot, to go to Eretz Yisrael, to go to Oman, whatever. I'm using this world for a higher means, for Hashem. So I'm taking olam, making simcha of the olam. I bring it to Hashem. What's the result? Simchat olam al rosham. I get to the crown, the keter. This is Rabbi Noson's proof. If now I work on being the simcha, I connect to the keter. What happens? When a person now has simcha, he goes up and up and up. The keter doesn't let you go through to it. The infinite doesn't let you to go and experience it. Why? Because you are finite. A human being is called finite. And the infinite is its opposite. Infinite, it means it's not finite. You are finite. If you as a physical human being try to go up and up and up and up, you'll disappear, you disintegrate. It's two opposites. And yet Hashem wants these two opposites to merge. He wants you in a physical existence to, yes, connect to the infinite light. It's a chidush. Hashem wants you as a physical human being, like it's coming up. And then a sulam mutzav arza. Rav Nosson explains that it's a ladder. The legs are in this world, but the mosho magiat shamayma. That the head of your sulam, your ladder, is you're connected. You're connected to the highest levels, and at the same time, you're going to buy your croissant. You're on the streets. You're doing physicality, and yet you're connected to the highest levels. It's crazy. It's two opposites. Two opposites. You're in the physical world. You're living Boisbriand. I don't know. You're eating your gâteau and everything, and you're living in this world, and you're connected to the highest of levels. Two opposites, and that's what Hashem wants. But it can't happen by just going up and up. We think, hasmada. Advance, what they're saying, more steigen in the Torah, go up. But that, you see, that attitude of going and what's it called? Consistency in adding is good for Pshat, Remez, Drash, Sod. And you need that. We're not denying that. You as a Jew have to have your chelik in the Pshat, in the Remez, Drash, Sod. You can't say, I just want the Keter. The Keter, this level, requires that you have a familiarity with the Gemara, with the Chumash, with Rashi, with basic Judaism, with the Midrash, Ein Yaakov, Zohar, Tikkunei Zohar, Kitve Ari. That yes, the Torah, the highest level of the Torah, expects you to be eventually fluent in everything. You do your best. I'm holding at this level. I'm not going to say you have some people, some Baal Tshuvas, they just want the light of the Keter. They throw everything aside. Just give me that light of the Keter. That's wrong. The Keter uses the other four levels of Torah. You need all 5 levels. Okay. But the thing is that for this keter, it doesn't allow you to go up and pass it to the infinite light. It does what's called the betisha. It pushes you back. So now the normal person, when he gets pushed back, he takes it as a slap in the face. Hashem doesn't want me. Hashem doesn't care about me. I invested so many years to raise a family on Torah and Kedusha and Torah, and this is what you do to me, Hashem. This is what you do to me. I'm trying so badly to watch my eyes and to be good and everything, and I get hit like this. So now that's the test. If now your whole going up is built on simcha, sof ma'aseh u'machshava tchila, the final result will show retroactively how you began. If you began with sincere simcha, when you get smacked back, you know how to take it properly. You take it as a preparation, Yerida, L'tzorach Aliyah. You take it as a preparation for the next level. But if there was no simcha in the first place, so you take it, Hashem doesn't want me. I remember meeting a friend of mine. He started becoming religious. He lost his mother. And it was a push. He started saying Kaddish and everything. And he started becoming more religious. And then after 5 years, no kippah, no nothing. I said, what happened? He said, well, I gave Judaism a try. I gave Hashem a chance. I gave Hashem a chance. What is that? What is that mentality? As if I'm deserving to advance. And Hashem's the one who pushed me back. Hey, Mr. Bozo, this idea is that pushback was your test to see how you take it. Do you take the setback as this is just a preparation? You can only think that way if you are someone who's based on simcha. if you're yesod, right? We say in Breslov, mitzvah gedola liot b'simcha tamid, okay? And the Litvaks say, what does it say? Where does it say it's a mitzvah to be simcha? What does it say to be happy? I counted the 613 mitzvot. I don't see where it says mitzvah gedola b'simcha tamid. What does it say? You have this question. And to the extent that they changed the song from mitzvah gedola, they changed the simcha gedola liot ben mitzvah. What are you doing? He said mitzvah gedola liot b'simcha. So where is it? He said mitzvah gedola. There are 613 mitzvot. They're all big, but they're called mitzvot. And in ratio to them, there is a mitzvah called mitzvah gedola. Where is that hinted to? Parashat Kitavo. Like you said earlier, tachat asher lo abadata et Hashem elokecha b'simcha uvtuv levav. You tell that to anybody. Okay, it's in the Torah. It's not a Hasidic word. It's in the pasuk in the Chumash. That the reason why punishment comes upon Am Yisrael because they're not serving Hashem b'simcha. It doesn't say tachat asher lo abadat Hashem elokecha. Period. It says you're not serving Hashem b'simcha. You got it? So with simcha, Rabbi Nachman teaches you have the gateway to the Keter, which means the Keter is going to push you back. You're going to get pushed back, yes, but you're going to know how to handle it. You know, if you have simcha, you get pushed back. And you know that this is a preparation for the next level, because this is the only way Hashem can shine into me the infinite light. That I'm pushed back because I'm going too fast. I'm going up and up and up and up. I'll disintegrate in the infinite. I'm finite. It's infinite. So the pushback is what allows you to create vessels to receive the infinite light. So what happens then? You initially, before you even started, Hashem gave you this light, like we said earlier. And then you're climbing now to advance to receive it a second time. This, by the way, is the Keter of Naaseh and the Keter of Nishma. The Keter of Naaseh is what Hashem gives you a gift, initial experience of light in your life, which wasn't earned. He just gives you an exposure and then it's taken away. And then the Keter of Nishma is based on Nishma, is connected to the heart. Shmiya, Talia, Beliba. The Zohar says that Shmiya, listening, is connected to the heart. And the heart is the place of Re'uta Deliba, the Ratzon, Re'uta is Ratzon of the heart. So the Keter of Nishma, which is the second go, the second experience of your life to reconnect through your work of being B'Simcha, is connecting to the second crown called the crown of Nishma. Now, what happens every time you have an exposure in your life of the infinite light, your Simcha is enhanced. So going back to the Simcha is enhanced. You have a higher level of Simcha. The guy who's 50, 60, 70, 80, and still holding on in Yiddishkeit, if you take a look at the old Jews who are still with Emunah, they are technically the happiest people in the world. Why? They went through so much in life, and they're still here. They're still holding on. They're still getting up to putting on tefillin, and they have an inner happiness and contentment that we don't have, because they've been around so long. They went through so much. It was the Holocaust and pogromim, whatever. And in more recent times, other difficulties, children difficulties, marriage difficulties, but they're still here and they're still functioning as a believing Jew in serving Hashem. They have the deepest simcha because they know they went through so much and they passed it. They've shown that I have a deeper simcha. So the key is, again, a simcha, bouncing back, more simcha, going up, the enhanced simcha, being bounced back again, going up again, more simcha. Life is just about more simcha and more simcha and more simcha. That's the goal. Now I think about it, I was zochet to see Rabbi Yisrael Dov Odesser, his last 2 years of his life. He died at the age of 104, 105. He was very old. Okay? And before he passed away, I'm talking about the year 1992, 1993, he was always smiling and always laughing. He was like that. He was laughing. I was trying to figure out what's going on. What is this? Is he okay? And when I look back and I think about it, someone at that age and still with a beard and peyot and still putting on tefillin and keeping Shabbat, of course he's happy. He's experiencing such a level of bliss that we have no idea what it is. Because to be that old and still connected to Hashem with all the trials and tribulations is a chiddush. So bottom line of all this class is we need the Keter, ein ma lasot, and other Jews now who deny it, who don't want it, and they want, just let me live my comfortable, regular life, let me have my shul, have my daf yomi class, let me be comfortable in Pshat Remez Drashot. Okay, but you're fooling yourself. They give you an exposure of light, and they just no, it's not for me. It's not for me. So they agree to live what's called what's the word in English? No, to live like everybody else. What's it called? Status quo. They want to be status quo. Let me be like everybody else. You want to be like everybody else? Okay, fine. But that means you risk coming back in Gilgul. You risk coming back again and again and again. We have a tradition. It's in the book, 7 Pillars of Faith, from Yitzhak Breiter, that he says, someone in his life, this lifetime, who doesn't have the schut to connect to Rabbi Nachman, will have to come back again and again until finally he does reconnect to this tzaddik. Because he's a pele. He's a gateway to the Keter. So bottom line, we should be b'simcha. And he said, Rabbi Nachman, whoever comes to Rosh Hashanah, kol Hashanah, his whole thing is to bring simcha. That's why it's called Nachman ben Simcha. His father name was Simcha. To show people his thing is you have to work on being the simcha, and you have what to be happy about. It's not okay, tell me to be happy. You have what to be happy about. You're talking like that. So more smacks until you're more submitted, and then you appreciate. Do you appreciate waking up in the morning? No, I don't deserve it. Okay, more smacks. Do you appreciate it now? Yes, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I woke up in the morning. Thank you. Only when a person gets submitted, bent, can you begin to appreciate and be happy. We said also today earlier that the Keter, the first letter is Chaf. And there's a rule in Kabbalah that the first letter of the word contains the essence of the word. So they say, En Keter belo Kaf. You can't write Keter without the letter Kaf. And that means the characteristics of the letter Kaf is the prerequisite needed for Keter, which means what? Kafuf. Kaf means to bend yourself. If you have submission, then you can be happy. If you are not saying things have to work my way, you see, normally person, when even in Yiddishkeit, I have my seder, I have to do my seder, I have to get up chatzot, I have to be netz, and I have to have my daf yomi, and this. So now he's like running, and Hashem pushes him back. Boom. Okay, it's scary because how can he be b'simcha now? He's always running. Hey, take it easy. Breaks. You don't have simcha. You're doing everything without simcha, so you don't have the right address. Yeah, but I have to do Gemara, I have to do Mishnah. No. But you're not in the right mode. He says also, Rabbi Nachman, Keter is milashon Katar. It's a pasuk in Eov. Katar li ze'er v'achaveka. Katar means wait for me a little. The Keter pushes you back so you should wait more. You're not ready yet. Wait, hamtana. This is a whole lesson in itself, that now one of the biggest things needed in life is waiting. And society and technology is the exact opposite of that. How does a smartphone work? Just in just one click, you have everything. And if it does, you can't be working faster than the smartphone. The smartphone has to be faster than you, and it makes you go faster and faster and faster and faster. So people don't have hamtana, waiting. They're lacking waiting. And if you don't have waiting, you can never connect to the level of the Keter. Okay, we should be zochet to fulfill all of this. Follow up. 1 second. Follow up. Everything we said tonight is taken from an amazing lesson in Rabbi Nachman's Likutey Moharan, lesson 24. The Simcha, the Keter. Okay. How Rabbi Nachman's teachings work. They work in a few ways. The more you learn them, the more you activate them in your life. Plus, he also introduced a second level, davening about them. Davening about these concepts to Hashem is what bridges the potential to the actual. To give an example, person who's sick, God forbid, and there's a medication to heal him, okay? So he buys the medication, but if he doesn't apply it, if it's an ointment or doesn't take it in the right place, it doesn't help that he has the medication. You can have the medication in your hand, but you have to administer it. You have to take it or apply it in whatever, okay? So too, learning Rabbi Nachman's teachings activate that you have access to these ideas. But the bridge to bring them, to actualize them, is the davening parts. So there is learning a lesson in Likutey Moharan, and then there's davening about it. We prepared a PDF file. A year ago, I came with this 40-day challenge, and it was a test to see if people would do it. And it worked out that nobody did it because it was too heavy. We made a revised edition of the 40-day challenge that I presented last year. Super duper easy. It takes about 2 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day of reading a paragraph of the lesson or the prayer, but in the format that you finish it in 40 days. We prepared, if you can give this out, please. Don't mind giving out this, people. You have the QR scan to make it easier for you guys. There's a QR scan that you can go directly to the WhatsApp page of this 40-day challenge. In the description box, you have the PDF file there. You click on it and you have the 40-day challenge. It's easy. It's 1 or 2 minutes. What's meant to be is for you to see a change in your life. Followed on the bottom is a second QR scan of what we are doing here. This is called rest of therapy. This is healing the neshama through the teachings of Rabbi Nachman. You have a description on the bottom of what we do, and support to help us doing what we're doing is appreciated. You can get a Canadian tax receipt on the donation. And Yiratzon, Mashiach shall come, besimcha, like the pasuk says, ki besimcha tetzeu. Thank you for joining.
Está on.